is Sophia. I'm a doula and a childbirth educator, and I help Christian moms prepare for birth with peace and confidence. If you've heard people talk about their birth and say, oh, my birth didn't go according to plan, so why would you create a birth plan if, it's probably going to get thrown out the door anyway? I have a different perspective for you. I honestly think that as a society, we've put birth in this separate corner, like, oh, this is an event that you can't predict, so you should not plan for it. You should just kind of wing it. When, big other things like a wedding, for example, we plan a wedding, we hire a planner, we do all this stuff. Even if you're planning like an outdoor wedding, you don't know if it's going to rain or not, but what do? You get a tent, you have backup plans. We plan for all these important things in life. So that's why it's so important, and even arguably more important, to plan for our birth. So my argument is that making a birth plan isn't necessarily controlling every single outcome, saying this is what's going to happen, this is what I don't want and do want, and there will be no situation where anything will go not according to plan. Some people call birth plans birth preferences, and I like that a lot, to say, this isn't a prescriptive plan, but more of a guiding document. And also the process of making a birth plan helps your birth team get all on the same page. So I would say that a birth plan shouldn't be something you're just showing up to the hospital in labor, handing to your provider and saying, this is my birth plan, but something to be creating, especially in your third trimester, and to be bringing to your appointments to ask your provider, hey, is this possible? What does this look like? What are your thoughts on my birth plan? And that will help everyone be on the same page, so no one's guessing what your preferences are. And today I'm gonna walk you through 5 steps to creating a birth plan, one that your provider will actually read, with my top tips just from my experience being a doula. Now, step 1, before you write anything down, is just to sit with yourself and ask, what really is the birth that I desire? Not what my friends think, not what my mom thinks, not what my provider thinks. Take all that influence and just set it aside and ask yourself, what is the birth experience that I really want? Having that vision and that clarity is going to help us through every step of this process. Closing your eyes and picturing yourself in labor. What are you doing? Are you eating or drinking anything? Who is with you? Where are you? Are the lights low? Are you outside? Are you smelling anything? Are you watching anything? Asking yourself those questions, it may feel kind of silly at first. It can help guide your birth plan to say, okay, how can I emulate those things? And how can I recreate some of those feelings when I'm actually in labor? If you go on Google and ask how to write a birth plan or a birth plan template, you'll probably come across something like this. Something like a checkbox, I do want this, I don't want this. And this is actually one of the worst ways that you can write your birth plan, because again, it's more of this prescriptive thing. It's not making room for nuance. It's not making room for what personally matters to you the most. It is just a standard checkbox. That's why step 2 is to learn your options. We know what our vision is, but what kind of options do we have at the place that we're giving birth? If it's in the hospital, can I give birth in the water? Can I just labor in the water? What options are there for movement, pain relief? Do I want to have a doula there? Are doulas allowed in that hospital or in case of a C-section? One great way to do this is to take a childbirth education class. I have a class launching this fall that you can get on the wait list for in my bio. Taking a childbirth class will help you identify what your options even are. What interventions are common in the hospital? What things are what we call routine interventions that are done to pretty much every woman coming to the hospital, and which ones are only in case of complications or emergencies. While it might seem very overwhelming to know all your options, especially if you looked at one of those birth plans with the check boxes saying, I don't know what this is, or I don't know when these things are used, you might feel some fear creep in. And that's okay. That is normal, feeling that overwhelm. But as you start to learn more, some people will say, oh, if I learn about C-sections or if I learn about an induction, then that means it's going to happen to me. No. Fear often has its root in what's unknown to us. So the more that we know, the more that we learn, it can help us if we are in that situation, it not to be unknown, that we can know what our options are in that moment if we've learned and prepared beforehand. As you come to understand and to learn more about what your options are, step 3 is to actually write the birth plan. Instead of writing a novel, we are going to keep this hopefully to 1 page. It does force you to say, what are the most important things to me? What do I want everyone to know? Just looking at this, bullet points of what I really want. Simple, clear, short bullet points on 1 page. You can organize your birth plan by making these different sections. So these can include before you go into labor, during labor / when you go to the hospital, or when you go to a birth center, wherever you're choosing to deliver, or if you're doing a home birth. And during birth, so that's pushing, right after delivery, and then postpartum. Those 5 sections can be really helpful as you're kind of organizing all your bullet points. Step 4 is to take your birth plan. Hopefully you've made that plan with maybe your husband or your partner or your doula. You've kind of been on the same page with them, but bring that birth plan to your provider before you're in labor. Ask them what they think, if those things that you are desiring are even an option where you're giving birth, because I just want to remind you that it's never too late to what I call fire your provider to find somewhere else to give birth, or someone who's going to be more supportive of your preferences. And finally, step 5 is to look at your birth plan, to take a deep breath, and to surrender that plan. Things might not go according to what you want or what you're hoping for, but that's okay. And no matter what the outcome of our birth is, that He is still good. And I know that not everyone who is watching is a Christian, but my faith is really important to me and what I'm sharing on this channel. I hope it encourages you that no matter what the outcome of your birth is, God is still good. God still cares about you and your baby. He cares about your birth and wants you to have a beautiful experience. We can know and put our trust in Him, who never changes, even though birth is something that is like everything in life. It is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We only know what's today, what's in the moment, and we don't know tomorrow, and maybe we're not supposed to. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't prepare and intentionally go forward every step, learning more about birth. If this video encouraged you, hit that subscribe button for more Christ-centered birth education. Hit the like button and leave me a comment. Is your first baby, second baby, third baby, 7th baby? And when is your due date? Love to hear from you guys. All right, see you next time.